Hai guys, saya Jai Android King, professional drifter, racer dan sim racer. Kalau korang mencari racing simulator, datanglah ke Android King. Kita ada Thrustmaster T300 steering, Logitech G29, Simagic wheelbase, Super Street racing rig, triple monitor setup dan macam-macam lagi produk. Saya ingin menjemput anda datang ke Android King, nanti saya bagi harga baiknya.
Nama saya Teguh Janli, saya pelumba profesional, dah berlumba lebih kurang 20 tahun. Sekarang saya sebagai Gazoo Racing Ambassador dan juga Toyota Ambassador. So dari segi perlumbaan, baru-baru ni saya masuk di Toyota Gazoo Racing Festival Season 4 Round 1 yang telah dijalankan di Sepang Circuit baru-baru ni. So sebenarnya saya dah sim racing ni dah lama. Saya bermula dengan LFS, Live for Speed. Saya tak sure kalau LFS ada lagi, tapi that was the first platform lah yang saya cuba sim racing. Then saya pun dah lama tinggal sim racing ni. Dan baru-baru ni last year start MCO sebab pandemik COVID ni, saya bermula semula. Then dapatlah rasa iRacing, ACC dan berbagai-bagai lagi. So untuk saya sim racing ni memang bagus sebab dia memberikan peluang untuk saya berlumba. Bukan untuk belajar memandu, tapi untuk memberikan peluang untuk berlumba dalam keadaan almost reality lah, kalau nak kira macam tu. So untuk saya is a good practice lah. E-racing, so saya pun baru-baru saja mula sejak MCO, iaitu dah 13 bulan kot rasanya bermulanya. So saya mula dengan event race room yang telah dianjurkan oleh MEM dan juga sekarang dengan AIMC. So kalau tak silap ni dah season kedua yang saya masuk AIMC, dan juga GT Global Asia. So sepatutnya kita berlumba GT di Asia dengan team Legacy Racing, tapi sebab COVID-19 kita tak dapat berlumba fizikal. So actually organizer tu telah menganjurkan satu e-racing untuk GT Global. So kita pun masuk sebagai team legacy racing. Perbezaan yang paling besar. So dalam real racing ni saya dapat banyak informasi dari kereta dan juga feeling tu kan. So dari segi speed, dari segi steering feel, cara chassis kereta bergerak, semua informasi tu semua saya dapat sebagai seorang pelumba. Sim racing ni pula informasi tu datang dari visual dan juga steering. So saya kena adapt. So saya menggunakan pengetahuan saya dari perlumbaan itu untuk membawa masuk ke sim racing. Memang susah, bukan nak katakan senang. So nak dapatkan lap time, katakan kita boleh dapat dalam masa dalam lebih kurang 1 saat dari pelumba sim racer yang paling bagus, katakan Nak dapat yang last 1 saat tu memang susah. Sebab saya tak dapat nampak apa yang sim racer profesional yang lain nampak dari segi pemandangan dari skrin tu, informasi yang keluar dari skrin tu saya tak dapat ubahkan informasi tu untuk dapatkan masa yang laju. Tu masalah saya yang paling besar sekarang. So sim rig saya telah diubah suai oleh TKKR Racing. So kenapa TKKR Racing? Sebab saya rasa macam TKKR Racing ni datang dari dia memang tim yang benar, di mana dia orang siapkan kereta berlumba semua. So beza dia maybe dari segi cara kita communicate tu, saya rasa penting, dan dia memahami apa yang saya perlukan, dan untuk memberikan satu feeling yang bagus, di mana bila saya berlumba sim tu, saya berasa macam saya dalam kereta berlumba sendiri. So tu yang perbezaan paling besar. So di mana that means posisi steering dan juga setup. So yang tu penting, sebab yang saya perasan di sim racing ni bukan kita setup kereta saja, tapi kita kena setup steering. That means dari segi dia punya feedback lah, dia punya informasi yang mana yang keluar. Kalau bagi kat saya pun tak tahu mana nak start, mana nak akhir kan. So di sini saya rasa TKKR Racing telah menolong saya banyak, di mana diorang memberikan satu setting. So saya bagi balik informasi kepada TKKR Racing, di mana saya kata saya tak dapat feedback ke, saya rasa informasi yang keluar tu tak sepenuhnya. So dia akan bagi setting yang lain, bagi informasi yang lain, di mana saya boleh ubah suaikan cara atau corak pemanduan saya untuk melakukan perlumbaan di SIM. Ya, memang penting. Saya bagi satu example So Toyota Gazoo Racing pun ada rookie program. So dari rookie program ni, kalau tak silap ada 8 orang. 6 orang dari go-kart, 2 orang dari sim racing. Minggu lepas bila dia orang berlumba, yang masuk ke podium dua-dua sim racer masuk ke podium. So saya rasa dari sim racing ni, dia punya finesse tu lah. That means cara dia memegang steering, cara dia bagi input kat steering tu lagi smooth dari pelumba yang benar. So pelumba benar, sebab pelumba yang benar kita kereta yang kita bawa tu berbeza kan. Ada yang steering yang berat, ada steering yang ringan. So kita kena adjust, kita kena adapt. Tapi nampak gaya macam sim racer dia senang sikit dia nak adapt kepada situasi. That means sebab sim macam saya cakap kan, sim racing informasi yang keluar dari steering saja. Steering dengan visual kan. So bila diberikan informasi yang lebih, saya rasa sim racer ni lagi senang dia nak proseskan semua information untuk memberikan corak pemanduan yang bagus. Nampak gaya sim racing ni tengah naik di Malaysia, naik dengan mendadak. So ni memang satu platform yang bagus sebab sebenarnya kalau kita ingin menceburi motorsport ni, kos dia tinggi. So sim racing ni adalah satu the first stepping stone lah boleh dikirakan supaya kepada sesiapa yang suka dan ingin mencuburi motorsport. So ni yang memang bagus dan juga dia memberikan peluang di mana anda memahami proses perlumbaan sebelum anda memasuki perlumbaan yang benar. So ni bagus sebab saya tengok ramai rookie driver yang masuk perlumbaan yang betul, tak pernah sim race, diorang pun tak tahu apa nak buat dalam track. So ni perbezaan dia yang besar. So sim racer ni dia dapat merasai perlumbaan yang benar tapi dalam simulasi. So bila dah masuk katakan ke perlumbaan yang betul, then maybe dia dia boleh proseskan information tu dengan lebih bagus sebab dia dah experience benda ni walaupun dalam dunia virtual tapi still proses dia lebih kurang sama. So that is good. So insyaAllah satu hari sim racing ni pun boleh jadikan satu program untuk anak-anak muda menceburi motorsport. Seperti mana go-kart dikira sebagai satu platform untuk masuk motorsport, InsyaAllah sim racing pun boleh jadikan satu platform yang teguh supaya orang lain boleh masuk.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 3 of the XOX Unity League Challenge. Round 3, 3 sekali. So we are at Belle Isle in Detroit. It's going to be an amazing race this time around, a street circuit for the first time in this championship and in this series. I'm your host for this evening, Max Palmer. With me in the studio is Encik Bob. Apa khabar, Encik Bob?
Kabar baik. Round yang ketiga, kita berjumpa lagi.
Ya, itu dia. So, jom kita naik sikit. So, special thanks goes out to XOX and 1XOX, our sponsors, as well as our racing partner TKKR, our event partner Macpie, our supporters Android King, Precision Sim Racing, our media partners Galeri Kereta, all the drivers who have taken part in this championship so far, and they're really raring to race for this evening, as well as our wonderful fans. Friends and fans out there watching the stream. It's going to be the pro class race this evening. The amateurs will race tomorrow, so do stay tuned for that. But for now, we're going to head down and really take a good look at the course conditions as well as all of the players. So that's the schedule for this evening. The amateur race will be on the 24th. This will be the pro race right here on the 23rd. The race will get going fairly soon. So we'll be heading into qualifying fairly shortly, but for now we are going to really enjoy the scenery here at Belle Isle.
Ya, okey tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang baru menyaksikan live streaming ini, kami minta jasa baik tuan-tuan supaya dapat tekan like semua page kami yang berkaitan dan tolong share live streaming ini di laman-laman sosial anda.
Bos pun dah tanya tu, silau kah Bob?
Lain sikit. Kita dah buat something different lah. Sebab ini minggu yang ketiga. So malam ni ingat pakai spek lah. Mata lebam sikit lah.
Oh. So as you can see that we're accessorizing as we go throughout the series. We might even ask some questions about the accessories at the end. You never know. But for now, let's have a look at the prize pool. Of course, these drivers are competing in the championship and they're competing to win a part of a 30,000 ringgit prize pool put up by our sponsors XOX. It's going to be a brilliant run through all of the championships there. As you can see there, the pro class drivers that are racing this evening, they are fighting for a chance to win 3,000 ringgit. for first place and 2,000 for second, whereas the team championship, they are competing for the chance to win 4,000 ringgit as well as a sportsmanship award of $500. So memang lumayan jugalah hadiah.
Hampir kalau tak silap aku hampir 30,000 wang tunai terkumpul untuk XOX Unity League iRacing musim yang kedua ni sangat-sangat menarik.
Memang menarik sangat. Hui, kalau if I wasn't a commentator, I'd probably be entering the race myself. Anything for a chance at that really good prize pool there. As you can see, they're covering Bob, man in black.
Thank you, Kelvin. Kita jumpa nanti. Tapi tak boleh lah. Awak kena duduk kat sini. Kalau awak main, siapa nak jadi komentator, lead komentator kat sini?
Betul juga kan.
Okay,
That's okay. I won't be going back anytime soon. But one thing that will be leaving us and heading to one of you, lucky winners, we have the LED shift light from Android King to give away this evening, and the precision sim racing mat for the AM race tomorrow. So do check out the Android King LED shift light, programmable for yellow flag conditions, rev limits, of course, RPM as well as gear indication. So it's a really, really smart bit of equipment there from Android King. Very high quality bit of equipment as well. So this is how you get your chance to win. There's going to be a question, but before that, you need to tag three of your friends, the same amount as how many rounds there have been in this championship. 3 of your friends, so tag them, and also like and follow Vertex Esports, Adrenaline Impact, and as many of our sponsors as you can for a chance to win. And how you're going to win that is going to be answering a question. So tag 3 of your friends, hit that like and subscribe button and the follow button for Vertex Esports and Adrenaline Impact, and answer the question that we'll ask halfway through the race.
As Unity League iRacing pada kali ini, selain daripada para pelumba, anda sebagai penonton juga berpeluang untuk memenangi hadiah menarik daripada kami.
Ya, itu dia. So we're going to head on down to the racetrack, and what a unique racetrack this is, as we're coming up into the final minutes of practice out on track right now. Ibrahim in provisional pole there for the practice session, in the top place right now. 2 drivers in the 134s. Mohammed Ibrahim there of Axel Sport is in the lead, as well as Jezreel Jali in second place. Iman Danish is in third, with Ilham Slabi in fourth, Nigel in fifth, Azri in sixth, Saiful in seventh, Hakimi in eighth, Miko Nasi in ninth place, and Afiq Fadlan in 10th. Now Bob, ni memang untuk pertama kali kita buat race yang macam Gazu, macam race Gazu yang Tengku Jan selalu race kan. Ni temporary course, so dia separuh street circuit dan separuh dia orang letak dekat dalam taman ni untuk bagi feeling street course. So memang temporary track lah.
Aku tahu apa kau nak kata. Max mesti nak cakap track ni macam ketat-ketat kan. So track ni agak sempit, Max, betul?
Yeah.
Kali ni kita berlumba di Belle Isle. Kalau sebut bahasa Melayunya Belle Isle lah. Tapi kalau pronounce dia orang putih cakap Belle Isle, betul?
Ya, Belle Isle. So ini adalah salah satu daripada venue IndyCar dan juga IMSA. So series IndyCar yang ada 16 race, yang perlumbaan dia paling besar Indy 500. So this is one of the venues of the IndyCar series there. The Indy 500 is the biggest race on the calendar. The race right after the Indy 500 is the Duel in Detroit, which is one of the most difficult races for these guys. And believe it or not, they have to do 70 laps of this place twice.
So 70 pusingan Kenapa sampai 70 pusingan, Max?
Kalau dekat IndyCar lah. Kalau dekat malam ni, for tonight, however, these guys won't be doing 70 laps twice. They will be doing a grand total of about 40 minutes worth of racing. So that's perhaps around only 25 to 30 laps, depending on how quick the lap times are. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys handle the challenges of Detroit Belle Isle. Memang susah juga track ni.
Okay, untuk jarak perlumbaan track ni, berapa panjang course track ni? Dia punya kilometer dia?
Kalau tak silap 3.5 lah lebih kurang. 3.48 tu tak silap.
So ini bermakna kalau biasa kita buat dalam 20 lap lebih, aku jangkakan yang ni lebih banyak pusingan lagi kot.
Ya, mungkin kan, tetapi ada kemungkinan besar juga yang kita akan ada safety car juga yang keluar. So there's a very very big chance of the safety cars. Not so much because of the drivers we have out on track. Even the IndyCar guys rarely get the starts right around this track here. So there is a high chance of a bit of an incident going through turn 1, turn 2. We all have our fingers crossed, hoping that they'll be able to get through safely this evening. But we'll be taking a very good look at the track at the start of the race. And the other thing that's quite interesting is the strategy as well. It's very heavy track on the tires, so we'll see if anybody decides to take tires on and how much fuel they can save throughout the course of the race. So memang banyak fakta juga, banyak influence lah yang untuk strategi nanti.
Tapi ini personally bagi aku lah, kalau aku sebagai seorang pelumba, situasi track ni agak menyeramkan kerananya wall kiri kanan bang. Kiri kanan ni wall, depan blind spot bang. So memang cabaran yang berbeza pada minggu ini.
Seperti dalam perlumbaan Toyota Gazoo. So sesiapa yang masuk dalam perlumbaan Toyota Gazoo tu mungkin ada chance besar kot.
Aku tengok tadi Muhammad Ibrahim dia punya side mirror pun dah terkulai layu. Mungkin dah tercium sikit wall dekat tepi tu.
Yep. So that's going to be the trick this evening. You'll see a lot of the quick drivers that get so close to the wall that they might actually knock their wing mirrors off. Of course, they have a virtual mirror in the cockpit as well, so they can see what's happening behind them, regardless of the position the mirror is there. But it's still quite an interesting thing to see. Now, coming across the start-finish line, let's go for a lap with Muhammad Ibrahim in the XOX Sports car, the championship leader right now, going through turn 1, turn 2. Big spin there from Muhammad Ibrahim. Even the experts getting it very, very wrong going through turn 1 and turn 2. You can see how hard they are pushing as they go around the track.
Apple, track ni ingat ini speedway. Oh jangan bang, ini kiri kanan wall bang, ini sekali hantam habis bang. Tapi kalau macam kita insiden masa praktis tak apa Max
Ya, masa praktis dan masa qualifying tiada apa-apa masalah. So this is the time for the drivers to really try and push their machinery to their limits. They get a fresh car for qualifying and a fresh car for the race, so they have the chance to try and get out there and try and really get a good pace in. Now of course you see some of the drivers there like Mika Hakimi, who I believe is also in the Toyota Gazoo Championship. He might have an ability to do well in this race because he has that crucial experience of street circuits to rely on.
Mika Hakimi kalau tak silap aku dia bukan pelumba sebenar. Kalau tak silap aku background dia sim racer So menariknya, berapa umur Mika Hakimi ni
Saya pun tak tentu.
Kalau ada yang kenal mungkin boleh reply dekat chat box, komen kat bawah.
Does anybody know what Mika Hakimi's age is? Because I know he is quite young. He might be in with the same league. Alright. So see if there's
sebelum ni kita ada Iman Danish antara pelumba kita yang muda. So kelihatan Mika Hakimi juga mungkin seusia, kita tak tahu, tapi kita nak tahulah jawapan dia.
Kalau tak silap mungkin tua lebih kurang lah sikit. Mungkin dalam 2-3 tahun lagi tua. But there you have it, a lot of new drivers coming up into the world of sim racing as well. Quite a few drivers, of course, from the real racing scene out there on track, pounding around right now. Not too many drivers out on track at the moment, but we see that Faisal Jai, Zainal Hazim, Yawmun Fai, Faiz Azlan, quite a few drivers out there trying to improve their lap times. Of course, not all the drivers will be going for the fastest lap during the course of practice. Some of the other drivers will also be trying to do longer runs to try and calculate fuel consumption, because remember, there is one mandatory pit stop for all the drivers to take. So it's 40-minute race, rolling start, mandatory pit stop. Very tricky indeed.
Saiful Arifin tiba-tiba tercabut. Tayar rim kanan ada apa? Nak tengok.
Jom kita tengok balik.
Apa tu?
What?
Yang ni pelik. Ini aku pelik. Tapi tak apa, kita teruskan.
So that's very, very strange indeed. Saiful Arifin has appeared to hit a tiny pebble which caused the accident to. I think if we look back at that again, there was a car that glitched out for a split second there, and unfortunately Saifullah got involved in that as well. Of course, a lot of the drivers perhaps are still trying to sort out their internet connections and the like. Ilham Halabi now still out on track trying to improve his positions, but right now top three: Muhammad Ibrahim, Jazrin Jali and Iman Danish. We've got two young guns in the top three right now, but of course we have Ilham Halabi in fourth place, very, very close. But it's going to be a real threat around this track here. You can see Iman Danish getting so close, he knocks his wing mirror off. So
kereta yang kedua yang tercabut side mirror pada malam ni.
Dan ni kena tulis ni. Kereta yang kedua. Oh, that's a big accident there from Iman Danish. It looks like every car that we've managed to have a look at this evening has been in the wall. They're pushing the cars very, very hard indeed there. So it's going to be perhaps a race of attrition even for a lot of the drivers out there. Of course, hopefully we'll get most of the drivers through without any issues there, but it's going to be very, very difficult. I suspect we're going to see a lot of surprises this evening. A lot of people who are driving through the field, avoiding all the accidents there. There could be a chance for a new name in the top 10 or even in the podium.
Okey, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, kalau anda rasa minggu lepas track yang kita berikan agak mencabar, apa kata kita tengok cabarannya pada minggu ini pula? Mari kita saksikan.
Itu dia. Sorry? Oh, so yeah, we've had all the cars. We just noticed that we've had 23 drivers for the first two races of the season, but we have now 24 drivers out there on track. So we've managed to gain the final driver up there. No, a couple of the drivers had to, they were away, or AFK as we know, called in the business. But now we have the full grid for the first time. So 23 drivers racing round 1 and round 2. This time we have the full 24 drivers out on track. And 24 cars might not sound like a lot in iRacing terms, but around this racetrack it can get very, very busy. Trust me.
Okay, malam ni tak ada BMW Lebih kepada Porsche Cup malam ni.
Yeah, itu dia. So we only have two McLarens out there on track. Most of the other drivers are racing in Porsches, but it's a beautiful day to race whatever the car you're running out there. Of course, 22 degrees Celsius. The dew point is in the middle there, partly cloudy, and a nice breeze of 3 kilometers an hour, just enough to cool the drivers down on track there. Now we're heading into qualifying, and as you can see, a lot of the drivers decided to go out early in order to try and avoid any problems out there on track. Right now we've got eyes on Muhammad Ibrahim in Miko Nasi's car. I do apologize. So in the number 7 Axel sports car, there is Miko Nasi going out to try and get himself a quick lap time. Right now most of the drivers are out there warming the car up, so he's not being timed right now, but as soon as he crosses the start finish line, they're going to start that qualifying lap.
Ni Miko Nasi, rakan sepasukan Muhammad Ibrahim, yang mana boleh kita katakan kelajuan dan juga skill mereka tak dapat dinafikan lagi. Akan tetapi untuk track ni kita akan saksikan pada malam ini. Lain track, lain timing
Ya, betul. Dan lain track, lain pemandu yang kuat. Boleh kita tengok pada malam ini. Different tracks tend to favor different drivers and also different cars. We might see the McLaren really come to its own. Looking at some of the testing times over the course of the week, a lot of the drivers been practicing for quite a few days now. They've basically started practicing right after the previous race. As soon as they can get on the plane and come to Detroit, they've been practicing this racetrack. It's the hardest, perhaps the hardest, maybe the second hardest track in the calendar. Definitely the hardest sprint race or 40-minute race that they're going to do this evening.
Yeah. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, kita akan bawakan 24 pelumba yang terhebat pada season kedua ini pada malam ini. Malam ni anda akan saksikan pro kategori.
Yeah, itu dia. Now going around the track there, you can see from Mika Hakimi's vantage there, you're sitting in the passenger seat as he takes you around for a quick lap of the track there. As you can see, very, very difficult to sight your apexes and your exits. Very hard to look for your entry into the corners there, and that's because the barriers go all the way up to the side of the road, just like in Monaco. This is very much a pure street circuit in terms of the the way you drive it. It's also, as Adli Berry there says, track very, very bumpy indeed. Memang susah.
Ya, bab kata Adli Berry, track dia punya bumpy pe. Umar Abdul Aziz, hashtag side mirror terkulai malam ni. Itu tak dinafikan. Itu tak dinafikan. Kita jangkakan akan banyak side mirror yang tertewas pada malam ini.
Yeah, so siapa-siapa spare part shop dekat Detroit memang lumayan lah malam ni nak tukar side mirror.
USD bhai, USD. USA lah kan.
So there you have it. The spare parts guys down there in Detroit are going to have an absolute field day with all the side mirrors, the wing mirrors that are being broken off there. But for now, we'll see the first of the cars coming out and starting or finishing their first laps there. And it looks like Ibrahim is on provisional pole position, 134.4 there. Iman Danish managed to go quicker than Jazrin there. So he manages to get up into the 135.3. And they, as you can see, they're absolutely flying around the track there. Kelvinder Singh managing to come home in 7th. So the first opening round of qualifying, Ibrahim on provisional pole position, Iman Danish in 2nd, Jasrin in 3rd, Nigel in 4th, Hakimi in 5th, Miko Nasi in 6th, Kelvinder in 7th, Pagvinder in 8th, Faiz in 9th, and Afizul Jai in 10th.
Okay, kali ni Kelvinder kita nampak saksikan. Ini dia satu lagi genre yang terkulai layu side mirror dia. Okay, sama macam seperti pelumba-pelumba yang lain. Untuk sesi qualifying, setiap pelumba hanya diberi 4 kali ujian masa ke, Max?
Ya, betul.
Yeah.
So in the 15 minutes session right now, they have only 4 chances, basically 4 laps that they can do realistically in order to get a good lap time. So they've really got to push full throttle maximum attack for all 4 of those laps in order to make it count.
Dan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, sekarang ni catatan masa terpantas menjadi milik Muhammad Ibrahim. Di tempat pertama, Iman Danish mengikuti rapat masa Muhammad Ibrahim. Dan perlu diingat, sesi qualifying ini sangat penting untuk menentukan starting grid mereka nanti.
Yeah, itu dia. So at this track, above all else, the starting grid is going to be very, very important. It's very difficult to overtake on a street circuit, and it's doubly difficult to try and overtake here at Belle Isle. Very twisty. There's only really one overtaking maneuver, overtaking zone, if you will, and Jasrin's just gone past that into turn 3. And so it's really critical to try and get a good draft out of turns 1 and 2 and into turn 3. This is the biggest overtaking opportunity there. That's where the track is at its widest. From that point on, it becomes a lot more difficult to try and get past drivers, including back markers and the like, because the track really narrows down quite a bit there. Oh, as Nigel finds out that he collects the tyre barrier right on the exit. These guys are trying their hardest. Believe you me, they'll be trying just as hard in this series as they will be in the World Championship. I can assure you of that.
Yang ni pun spot-spot yang bakal ramai tercedok ni aku tengok. So agak sikit mencabar. Okay, qualifying telah pun berjalan langsung. Ini minit yang ke-6. So berbaki lebih kurang dalam 9 minit saja lagi sesi qualifying. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, anda sedang menyaksikan XOX Unity League iRacing pada malam ini. Kami ingin mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada penaja utama kami, XOX, One XOX, dan juga racing partner kita, dan juga supporters, juga media partner kita.
Yeah, itu dia. And don't forget, there is that giveaway as well. So remember to tag 3 of your friends and also follow Vertex Esports and Adrenaline Impact, as well as many of our sponsors as you can, for your chance to win that LED shift light from Android King. So get all of that done there. Share this stream with 3 of your friends. Spread that sim racing love around. And also follow Vertex Esports and Adrenaline Impact, and like those pages, and like as many of our sponsors' pages as well, to be in with a chance of competing. And we're going to ask the question, the deciding question, during the halfway point of the race. So do stay tuned for that.
So dengar tu Max cakap, korang jangan ke mana-mana, korang kena stay tune, jangan lepaskan peluang daripada monitor ini, kerana mungkin ada soalan yang akan beliau berikan sebentar nanti, ada jawapannya kat situ. So jangan ke mana-mana, anda juga berpeluang memenangi hadiah daripada kami.
Yeah, itu dia. So anyways, Lloyd Laughlin's now out on track there. He's in 17th position. He's going to He's going to try and push that little McLaren as fast as it'll go around the track right now. One of only 2 McLarens entered in tonight's race. Most of the rest of them are driving Porsches. It'll be interesting to see how the how the McLaren handles all these Porsches rampaging around the track there. But of course, not only is the McLaren a big factor in this race there, but also Lloyd Lachlan as well. He has quite a bit of experience. He actually has experience of street circuit racing, legal street circuit racing. So it'll be interesting to see how he manages his race, because I think it's going to be very easy to be pushing too hard at the start of the race there, but if you can pace yourself through the race, try and avoid the mistakes of others, try and avoid all the accidents ahead of you, you could be in with a chance. Track ni saya rasa Bob memang track yang paling lumayan lah kalau nak kutip saya.
Okey, agak menarik rakan kita Javier Alvarez. Tak sabar nak tengok turn 1.
Oh yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Double file start at the first start of the race there, so we'll have our eyes out on that. Of course, through turn 1 and turn 2, there's a very bad bump going on the exit of that section there and coming onto the straight there. For turn 2, it's very, very tricky indeed. We're on board with Saiful Arifin as he comes up towards the back half of the track there, and as you can see on the left hand side is the Hudson River, and that's where Mike Scully landed his plane, and it's also the lifeblood of Detroit back in the pre-World War I era when a lot of the steamships used to come in. Belle Isle, a long history of occupation on the island, a long history of settlement as well, and it's absolutely fantastic to see how the whole place has grown up. So for 355 days in a year, Belle Isle is a wonderful, quiet park with a few residential buildings, residential houses, and a lot of history to the city of Detroit. But for the rest of the year, for that little bit, that week in and around the duel in Detroit and the IMSA Sports Car Classic, this place turns into motorsport mecca.
Yelah, asyik belum dekat litar tetap je. So kali ni, yang ni menarik sikit sebab ini orang kata bukannya fixed track ya. Yang ni kadang-kadang ini orang panggil apa, Max
Ini boleh dikira temporary circuit.
Temporary circuit. Ya. So pandangan dia pun menarik, race dekat dalam town. Tapi yang paling penting challengingnya lebih mencabar lah. Sebab dia punya circuit tu lebih sempit, lebih ketat, lebih likat.
Tu dia, tiga-tiga sekali keluar.
Aku nak menggambarkan betapa sempitnya litar tu. Itulah dia.
Ya. Walaupun dalam gambar ni nampak macam tak sempit, tapi bila kita naik on board dengan Syami Azri sekarang, when we're on board with Syami Azri here, you can actually see how narrow the track is. It doesn't look too narrow when you're watching the vision from the cameras from the outside there, but it really is quite twisty indeed. Let's see if Syami Azri will take us for a lap around the track here. 5th gear before you come across the line there, before coming into a very difficult braking zone here. Now, going through turn 1, it's fairly conventional, but as soon as you go through turn 2 here, there is a big bump on the exit of the corner there. Now, that is going to be a real big gotcha for a lot of the drivers there. In fact, in a lot of the incidents that used to happen around this track, and as we see there, Syami Azri deciding to come into the pits there. So we'll see if we can catch another driver on their way around the track there. But of all the drivers and cars that have had an accident here, there's some illustrious names like Mario Andretti, Alan Sir Jr., and Roberto Guerrero. If I can pronounce that name correctly, I'll put my teeth back in. And also at one particular race back in, I believe, 2007, I believe this pace car actually crashed. So even the safety cars managed to crash coming out of turn 2 there. Very tricky indeed.
Okey, kita bersama dengan Abang Jai daripada Android King. Yang mana rindukan kelibat Abang Jai, dia malam ni tak jadi komentator. Malam ni dia pelumba. Tadi aku perasan ada orang tanya Abang Jai dekat studio ke? Abang Jan tengah berlumba sekarang bang.
Ya, itu dia. So dia sebagai dia menghadiri studio sebagai tetamu untuk post race show. So he was a guest at our post race show. Hopefully we'll see more interesting guests from the world of sim racing, and perhaps some real racing friends can come along as well. We'll let you know as soon as we can, as soon as we get the guys coming in for their slot on the pre-race show. It's a lot of fun, so I do recommend you watch it every Monday at about 10 o'clock.
Ni Max ramai nak tengok popcorn kat turn 1 ni Max. So kalau yang ni macam mana? Rolling start ke macam mana?
Yes, so for this race and for the entire championship, these GT4 cars can't really handle a standing start as you traditionally would do in an MX-5 or any other sort of sprint race car. With most endurance racing cars, they always go for the rolling start. It's a lot less shock load going through the entire car, and it's a lot safer for them as well. So it'll be a rolling start around Belle Isle there. Very, very tricky to try and get that down, because also you have to remember the start-finish straight is actually on a bit of a bend. There's a high-speed, almost flat kink going through the final corner there before you start the race. So there's not a lot of space there to try and get any moves done coming to turn 1. So the rolling start here is going to be one of the most difficult and most challenging rolling start in this championship.
Umar Abdul Aziz drama T1 lembu on. Justin Junos aku dah standby chicken chop dengan fries ni. Tunggu.
So kita dah ada popcorn, kita ada chicken chop dengan fries. Ada apa-apa lagi tak dekat menu? Tolong letakkan.
Macam-macam. Aku ingatkan semua dah kenyang. Rupanya still tak kenyang lagi. Sebenarnya mereka dahagakan aksi di T1. Semua barang nanti apa nak jadi di T1 ni.
Itu dia. So alamak, air oren dah habis pula. Siapa on the way to T1 tolong tapaukan. Itu si Ma'ar juga. That's Azman there from Simah Garage. He's actually racing here. So this is going to be interesting to see how this goes through. And Apple, which is Iman's there, dia pun dah bagi nasihat Iman jangan melembu kat T1.
Nasib baik. Nasib baik ini bukan pelumba sebenar. Kalau T1 yang sebenar aku rasa satu hobi yang sangat-sangat mahal.
Memang mahal.
Bak kata tu Jan lah. Sim race ni dia menjimatkan kita. Ini antara option yang ada di musim pandemik ni.
Yeah. So there we have it. The qualifying session is over, and all that remains for us to do is to look at the grid. Right now, Muhammad Ibrahim is in first place with Iman Danish in second. Very young front row this time around. XOX Sports in the lead there with Lifestyle Motorsports team right behind them. Saiful Arifin is in third place with Shami Azri in fourth, Nigel Chua in fifth, followed by Ilham Halabi, Jazrin Jali, Miko Nasi, Amir Faridyan, Afiq Fadlan, Mika Hakimi, and Faiz Azlan. So we can see that the drivers are beginning to load in. We're still waiting on Ibrahim, Azri, Lloyd, and Jai there. We can see some of the drivers further down the field there. Lloyd Lachlan there down in 20th, Afizul Jai, Aslan Manab. A lot of these drivers choosing not to go absolutely flat out during the qualifying sessions there. There's a few surprising names further behind, but perhaps they want to be just a little bit further behind when the race starts.
Okey, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, anda bakal menyaksikan pelumba yang terhebat, pelumba yang terlaju, pelumba yang terpadu pada malam ini. Sebentar lagi. Jangan ke mana-mana. Dan pastikan viewers jangan lepaskan peluang untuk memenangi hadiah daripada kami.
So there we have it. Apart from Lloyd Lachlan and Leon Monfai, it's an all Porsche grid right now. So Mama Porsche is going to take the baby Cayman around, all these little baby Caymans around the track. Yeah.
McLaren belakang sekali. Aduh. Okeylah, Lloyd di tempat yang ke-20. Okeylah.
Boleh ada peluang lagi sebab dekat track ni the important thing is to stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
But right now, as you can see, the pace car is beginning to lead them through. We're going to have a short run up to the start-finish line there. We're not going to do the full parade lap. It's just going to be a short parade run up into the start. Now the drivers are beginning to line up. The tension's building. The drivers are getting ready to go. One more corner before the start of the race. The eyes are on the flags. They are listening to their spotters, waiting for that signal. That signal that's going to come around there. And it's green, green, green. Go, go, go. Down into turn 1 there. And it looks like Mohamed Ibrahim managing to get himself up into the front there. But the car's going 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide. There's a spin right there in turn 1 itself. Their car still going 2 wide and 3 wide around the corner there. Look at that. 2 wide going through virtually the entire field there, but it looks like they're able to clear themselves out of T1. The drivers just about able to leave the track there, so we may not even have any yellow flag situations out there because the drivers managed to clear their way through there. Unfortunately, it looks like Afizul Jai is out and Zainal is in the pits there, so it's going to be a tough break for those two drivers there. But look at that, Lloyd Loughlin's managed to go up to P4. Jazrin is into P6, and it looks like Parvinder Singh as well. Roy Charles managing to gain 4 positions there, and Taki as well managing to gain 5 positions. So a lot of drivers gaining quite a few positions there, and looks like Amir Faradian dropped down 12 places, so he's going to have a real fight back on his hands to try and catch up with Moonfire and all the other drivers up ahead. But for now, in running order as of halfway through lap 1 here, going through the final corner there, you can see the cars really throwing them around. They are not holding anything back, even though the wall is very close. You can actually see the cars squatting and squirming as they come out the corner there. Mohamed Ibrahim there in first place. Iman Danish managing to get himself up into second, or keep himself in second place. Saif Arif in third place as the order stands now, and it looks like the drivers have managed to get themselves through lap 1 safely.
Okey, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, kedudukan yang terkini sekarang ni telah pun memasuki pusingan yang kedua. Muhammad Ibrahim di tempat pertama, Iman Danish di tempat kedua, Safru Arifin di tempat ketiga, Najib Chua di tempat keempat, manakala Azri di tempat kelima. Seperti yang dijangka-jangka Teduan tadi, tidaklah sechaos mana, akan tetapi ada beberapa pemandu yang tercedok sebentar tadi. Akan tetapi ianya tidak mendatangkan apa-apa yellow flag, Max, dan perlumbaan tetap diteruskan.
Ya, betul. Nampak gayanya memang kita dapat memulakan perlumbaan ni dengan boleh dikira lagi selamat daripada jangkaan kami.
Yelah, bukan kata jangkaan kita. Jangkaan viewers kita pun banyak menantikan. Mesti akan jadi huru-hara di turn-1 nanti.
Tapi betul jugalah, ada jugalah. There was a little bit of chaos there at turn 1, but we're all very, very surprised to see that the drivers managed to get through it all. A lot of the drivers there deciding that discretion was the better part of valor and picking their way through slowly as opposed to trying to overtake everyone around the outside. So that is definitely some very high-level racecraft around there, considering the real-life guys in IndyCar and IMSA don't tend to have that same level of racecraft going through turn 1 here, it seems. But there we can see there's already a race incident report there from the stewards. That must be for turn 1 there, under investigation down there. So it's going to be interesting. It's turn 2, sorry.
Okey. Oh, nampak gayanya Kuala macam nak hujan dah ni. Kuala macam nak hujan dah ni. Okey, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, masuk lap yang ketiga. Kedudukan yang terkini sekarang ini, Muhammad Ibrahim di tempat pertama, Iman Danish di tempat yang kedua, Saiful Arifin di tempat yang ketiga, tuan-tuan.
Yeah, there you have it. Ibrahim, Danish and Saiful are top 3 right now. Nigel Chua is in 4th, Azri in 5th, and Jazrin in 6th place. Let's have a look at Nigel Chua right now in 4th place. He still has the top 3 ahead of him. He still has a chance of trying to catch up and gain a few more positions. And it looks like Aslan Manap there going for an overtaking maneuver on Moonfire there, managing to get himself past the car there right now. It looks like, oh no, I think he's trying to unlap himself.
No, he did.
Yep. So Amir Faridian right now, that's it. Amir Faridian managed to overtake Aslan there. Now he's right behind Azam, ahead in 18th place. This battle for 18th and 19th looks like it's going to be hotting up quite a bit there. Looks like, as you can see there, Amir Faridian still battling his way up through the leaderboard. He was in the top 10 at qualifying, but unfortunately that start has really hampered his chances there. He's got his foot hard on the throttle trying to get around these drivers there further back of the field. It's going to be interesting to see how he scythes his way up the field. But let's have a look at the replay there as they come down into turn 1. Amir Faridian is the man we're looking at. coming into the corner there, and unfortunately, there was a bit of contact, and that's where the turn 1 incident started. And it looks like he got stuck on another car there, trying to get them turned around again, and finally, Vertex manages to get that Porsche off his nose. Perhaps these Porsches just being a little bit too sticky together.
Okey, tuan-tuan, ini dah kita bersama dengan Locklin, antara pelumba yang jarang-jarang yang ada di dalam pro kategori, yang mana dapat kita saksikan di dalam kategori ni hanya 2 orang saja yang menggunakan McLaren. Locklin daripada tim Liberace bersaing hebat dan kini berada di kedudukan yang ke-13 di litar ini pada malam ini.
Yeah, and there we have it. Mika Hakimi. Kita dapat juga nampak yang Mika Hakimi berada dalam kereta sekarang, ya?
Ya. Itu aku cakap, Mika Hakimi ni antara pelumba muda yang kita ada pada season yang kedua ini.
Yeah, itu dia. So Mika Hakimi driving for RSG, that well-known esports team, really putting their weight behind sim racing. They're also competing in other championships as well. Mika Hakimi now in the top 10 positions, and we can see vision from inside his cockpit right now in a driver cam. You can actually see his wheel input and all the rest of it as well. You can see his input. He's actually got quite a big input into the wheel there. He likes a car that rotates quite positively. He can put up with the back end sliding just a little bit there, and you can see he's got the front end of that car dialed in around this track. So big inputs coming into the corner there. He manages to hold a very smooth racing line, however.
Okey, Mika Hakimi sekarang ni berada di kedudukan ke-9. Akan tetapi kalau tengok dari segi view ni agak stres juga tu Macam mana Max? Kalau perasaan sebagai seorang pelumba macam mana Max? Kalau awak, apa perasaan awak berada kat tempat dia sebenarnya?
Memang stres. Kita akan fokus hanya kat perkara yang kita buat tu masa kita drive. Like for instance, when I'm doing the WRC2 Pro Championship or any other rally championship in Dirt Rally 2.0, my main focus is just trying to keep the car on the road and keep it rolling and going through the bends as fast as possible. So all you see from me is furrowed brow and a lot of focusing there, but you can actually see the mental stamina that these drivers need to try and get a good lap going around this track. And it is a little bit like rallycross, this racetrack. It changes lap by lap. One moment you're over the same bump, the next moment you might be just a little bit off, just a couple of inches off, and you'll be going over a different bump that'll affect the car differently. So you're constantly adjusting the car a lot, and you'll see in any of our driver cams this evening the amount of steering input that the drivers have to put in and the amount of adjustments that they have to make as well. So really a very taxing race mentally as well as physically.
Okey, on board bersama Amir Faridian. Beliau merupakan salah seorang pelumba XOX TKKR E-Racing untuk tim B. Ini dia sekarang ni berada di kedudukan ke-16 di dalam perlumbaan pada malam ini.
Yeah, Amir Faridian just came back from a bit of a break, but now he is back and racing as hard as ever. Tahu tak, Bob, yang dulu dia ada juga masuk pada tahun lepas beberapa race. Dia memang boleh dikirakan antara salah satu daripada veteran kami, tetapi dia untuk season yang lepas malam dia tak dapat masuk. So dia dapat juga masuk dan dia terus qualify ke pro untuk season ni.
Yalah, orang lama kan, tak payah banyak qualifying, terus lepas je. Tapi itulah, aku tak sempat nak bersama korang pada tahun lepas. Aku cuma sempat dengan korang masa season 1 dan juga season yang inilah.
Itu dia. So Amir Faridian, a friendly face and a good big help in the SRE community and all the other communities that make up the wonderful tapestry of sim racing here in Malaysia. You'll often find Amir Faridian giving some pretty solid advice on Discord and in places like that. So great guy there, really pushing hard, trying to overtake up ahead. Another good guy there, and another veteran of sim racing, Saiful Arifin, is up into 3rd place. So right now he's battling with Iman Danish, half a second behind there, so it's definitely in the strike zone. Coming down this straight here, will he be looking for a way past? It looks like it's going to be very, very close indeed, going around the bend here. In 3rd, in 4th place now. He's coming up towards the start-finish line here now. The key thing is to get a good run out of turn 2. So let's see if they can manage to get a nice push out of turn 2.
Okey, untuk makluman tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, Saiful Arifin juga merupakan salah seorang pelumba One XOX TKKR Racing. Cuma kali ini beliau mewakili tim A. Kalau macam seperti tadi Amir Farian untuk tim B, kali ini Saiful Arifin mewakili tim A untuk One XOX TKKR.
Yeah, itu dia. Anyways, in third place, it looks like Saiful Arifin not quite closing up the gap there. It looks like Iman Danish able to keep that car rolling through turn 1 and turn 2 just a little bit quicker than Saiful at the moment. But of course, it's very hard to predict tire wear. It's very hard to predict fuel consumption around this track here. And the interesting thing is, I'm pretty sure a lot of the drivers were also expecting a caution at some point during the race. If we go caution free for the remainder of the race there, a lot of the drivers are going to find that their fuel calculations will get stretched to the limit. But for now, let's watch as Miko Nasi is now battling with Ilham Labi. They had some fantastic scraps in Season 1. Let's see if these two drivers can entertain us with some more fantastic racing.
Oh, ini struggle ni. Biasanya Miko Nasi ni dia akan berada di kelompok hadapan. Tapi nampak gayanya minggu lepas dan juga minggu ni, nampak gayanya mungkin sama ada prestasi dia kurang ataupun pelumba lain dah semakin meningkat gaya pemanduan. Itu aku tak tahu. Sekarang ni Miko Nasi berada di tempat ke-8, cuba mengejar Ilham yang berada di tempat ke-7 dan juga Jazil Jali yang berada di tempat ke-6.
Yeah. And as you can see there, that's what makes the street circuit such a difficult place to go racing at. You can see a lot of drivers that you wouldn't expect be up at the front of the field, and also quite a few drivers that you wouldn't expect be quite a ways back, like Bob mentioned there. Miko Nasi not quite in his usual place battling for podium positions there. He's down in 8th. He's going to have to really think hard about his strategy and about his racecraft in order to try and climb his way up the leaderboard there. But if any man can do it, it's Miko, and he's going to try his best. Meanwhile, we have a bit of battle. This is the classic midfield battle, of course. It seems to be every race Adrenaline Impact shows off. There's always an interesting battle in the midfield. And now it's these two pairs of cars battling with each other there. That's Lloyd Lachlan battling with Amir Farid. And it looks like Amir Farid slowly but steadily trying to climb his way up through the leaderboard. But Lloyd can make that McLaren very wide if he wants to. In fact, it looks like he already has tried with his wing mirror hanging off there. And of course, there's Mohamed Taki and Azam there behind him in 15th and 16th place, also battling for positions. So this battle could get really interesting.
Track ni walaupun kecil, ketat, sendat, tapi aku tengok kamera change view pun boleh jadi pening tau, laju.
Ya, itu dia.
Boleh. Sikit lagi.
Coming into the sideways there, they're going side by side, coming into the braking zone, and it looks like Amir Faradian managing to take yet another position in his battle to head back up the field there. A textbook move coming into the horseshoe section halfway through the lap there. And it looks like Amir Faradian in 13th place. He'll try and put his foot down and try and gap the chasing cars behind him. And now Lloyd's got a whole gaggle of Porsches trying to overtake him. But rest be assured, it's not going to be easy trying to get past the Australian.
Awak rasa antara 3 model kereta yang kita pertandingkan, model mana yang awak rasa ada advantage dekat track ni?
Mungkin ni boleh dikirakan unpopular opinion sikit, tapi bagi saya kemungkinan besar BMW.
Kenapa?
Sebab dia punya suspension stroke lagi panjang dan dia punya wheelbase mungkin lagi panjang juga. So dia kereta yang besar sikit, berat sikit, spring dia lembut sikit, suspension dia panjang sikit. So mungkin dekat section yang bumpy tu dia boleh kereta tu boleh kawal dengan cara baik.
Okey, ini membuatkan aku tak sabar nak tengok MHM kategori pada esok hari. Okey, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, anda sedang saksikan kategori Pro Plus pada malam ini. Kita berada di minit ke-14 dan juga berada di lap yang ke-9 ini, dan tuan-tuan dan puan, Miko Nasi daripada XOX Sport.
Indeed, that is the case right now. Miko Nasi still on the back of Ilham Labi. He's going to try his best to get past there. Ooh, that car behind getting very close to the wall. A lot of these drivers getting incredibly close to the wall, as we saw with all the wing mirrors flapping away in the breeze there. But it looks like, there's 2 cars going side by side, and it looks like Taki has clipped the McLaren there, and he's in the barriers. Let's have another look at that. That's Lloyd in the right and Taki in the left there, trying to go for that overtaking move. They're going side by side down the straight, And coming into the corner there, looks like Lloyd had the inside line, but Taki tried to go around the outside. Very difficult move to do on a street circuit. And unfortunately, it looks like he's come off slightly worst there.
Itu dia hashtag Umar tadi. Side mirror terkulai.
So it looks like Lloyd's got more than the walls to deal with going around the track there. But looking elsewhere, we have Ayman Zubair battling with Patvinder Singh. Another interesting battle here. Very evenly matched drivers going around the track in very evenly matched machinery right now. That's what's really nice about seeing these groups of Porsches trying to battle with each other, because of course there's no advantage either way. Coming into the braking zone there, Ayman Zubair tries to go up the inside, but just isn't quite able to do it. But it looks like he might have a pace advantage, so let's see if he's able to try and make that overtaking maneuver work there. It looks like Pavinder trying to go break the slipstream. That's when you try and go to the other side of the track to try and break the slipstream there. But it looks like Ayman Zubair is trying to go around the outside. Will they be able to do it coming into this horseshoe section here? Hard on the brakes, Ayman Zubair on the inside. And, that was Pavinder Singh on the inside there. And he still manages to keep himself up into 10th place. So this is the battle for the last rung of the top 10 positions. So right now, race control has incident at turn 12, lap 3 between car 96 and car 420 under investigation.
Okey, sama macam perlumbaan sebenar, kita juga ada COC steward yang memantau perlumbaan kita pada malam ini. So, benda-benda ini menyebabkan akan ada orang kata yang kita je grade, license grade tu malam ni kita ada keluarkan ke? Max?
Kalau
nak tengok. Macam minggu lepas kita keluar. Ini dia. Terima kasih produser kita dan juga Encik Omar. Untuk makluman tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, ini merupakan antara grade license yang diberikan untuk menentukan, lebih mendisiplinkan lagi pemandu, betul Max?
So the penalties that these guys can be given to the drivers for contact, things like unsportsman driving and all that, and impacts and things of that nature, not following the proper SOPs, if you will. And of course, they can give a time penalty, a points penalty, or of course maybe even more drastic action there. But that's the caliber of drivers right now. We have a lot of A-class drivers in this series. You don't get to see that too often, except for maybe in the official championships, in the top split of the official championships. There are a lot of A-class drivers, but also a lot of C and B-class drivers doing very well for themselves. Now let's have a look at Ayman Zubair there in the replay, trying to chase after Pavinder Singh there, and it looks like he managed to get the car very sideways coming out of the corner there. It's just that bump on the exit of that bend there that upset the car a little bit, and just a little bit of contact trying to get back around.
Ya, itu tak ada melibatkan sesiapa, tapi aku rasa itu kesilapan driver sendiri, Ayman Zubair sebentar ni. Okey, Saiful Arifin, kita bersama dengan pelumba di tempat yang ketiga sekarang ni daripada pasukan 1S TKKR E-Racing Team A, cuba mengejar Iman Danish sekarang ini.
Yeah, that's right. Saiful Arifin now battling with Iman Danish. They were teammates in the previous season of the XOX Esports Challenge. Now in XOX Unity, they are driving for different teams. Iman Danish driving for Lifestyle Motorsports and Saiful Arifin for TKKR. Both drivers pushing very hard for each other. They are not going to give each other any room right now. The battle is really hotting up there as they try and look for a way around. But of course, all this battling between second and third place has meant that Mohamed Ibrahim's managed to stretch his gap to 6.8 seconds. So he is in a commanding lead right now. And it's going to be very difficult for these drivers to try and catch up with them, unless, of course, they perhaps try and start to work together or deal with that situation. There's another message there from race control. Unfortunately, can't quite. Incident at turn 7, lap 9 between car 58 and car 21 is under investigation. So there we'll have some of the drivers, quite a few of the drivers there having some incidents there. I believe the incident at turn 7 may have been with Lloyd and Taki, although I could be mistaken there. But now Miko Nasi has managed to catch up against Ilham Halabi and Jazrin Jali and the whole line of cars there. It looks like there's another Adrenaline Impact midfield battle, TM, brewing in the mid of the field, towards the front end of the midfield there. And it looks like Jazrin Jali really one of the drivers that's put in the hot zone, if you will.
Jazz Jali di tempat ke-6 sekarang ini. Yang manakala di tempat pertama Muhammad Ibrahim jauh meninggalkan kesemua pelumba di belakangnya. Jazrin cuba mengejar Safu Azri di tempat kelima sekarang ini. Itu dia dapat kita saksikan agak rapat pelumba di antara satu sama lain. Dan ini mereka hanya perlu mencari ruang dan peluang kalau ada track yang agak besar dan juga sedikit kuasa supaya dapat memintas pelumba yang berada di hadapan.
Ya, dan itulah cabaran track ni sebab tempat nak memintas tu memang susah nak cari.
Ya, kadang-kadang bila dah tempat tu lebar, power pula tak ada. Aduh.
So we look at the replay there, and they're going side by side. It looks like Aslan Mana managing to get past the McLaren of Lloyd Lachlan coming into turn one. That he must have had an absolutely epic drive coming out of the final corner to try and get past Lloyd through quite a narrow section there. But it looks like Lloyd managing to sneak up right back behind him there, and that battle also going on for quite a while as well. But Jasmine Jali is still in the middle of this 6-car battle right now. He's trying to find any way possible to try and get past Shami Azri in 5th place, and he's also got his teammate Ilham Labi right behind him, and they're all trying to keep Miko Nasi in bay in 8th place. So this battle is starting to look a bit more like a chess battle as opposed to all out side by side fighting, but this battle could go nuclear at any moment.
Okey, perebutan tempat kelima di antara Azri, Jazrin dan juga Ilham Halabi. Dan untuk makluman tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, aku rasa di minit yang ke-20 sekarang ini kira tengah-tengah lah Kita tak tahu lagi siapa yang dah masuk pit Max
Ya, itu dia. Nampaknya macam kebanyakan frontrunner belum lagi masuk dalam pit. So the only drivers that have gone into the pits right now is Aiman, Wanlikui and Taki, who've gone into the pits as well. And Afiq unfortunately had to take 2 stops in order to try and sort out some issues there. So none of the front runners have pitted yet, even though we've gone past the 20-minute mark. So a lot of these drivers are choosing to go long into their first stint. That seems to be the strat for Belle Isle. And of course, with 20 minutes gone and 20 minutes to go, well, actually 22 minutes gone and 18 minutes to go, it's time for the question. So hopefully you guys have shared the stream with 3 of your friends and liked and followed Adrenaline Impact, Vertex, as well as some of our sponsors there. And now is your chance to win that LED shift light. So the question is, who took pole position for this race you're watching right here?
Soalan dia dalam bahasa Max, dalam bahasa.
So siapakah dapat pole position pada malam ni, tempat pertama masa qualifying?
Itu dia soalannya. Sangat senang dan mudah. So jawapannya ada dekat sini. Korang kena tengok sampai penghujung nanti.
Yeah, itu dia. Hopefully we'll be able to catch the winners towards the end of this evening. So do stay tuned to Adrenaline Impact and Vertex Esports there. And of course, don't forget to leave your comment down below. The winner will be chosen at random as well. So do enter and have a bit of fun. And hopefully you might be able to go home with that LED shift light. But one driver who's definitely staring intently at the shift light as well as the brake lights of the cars up ahead, that is Saiful Arifin in 3rd place, desperately trying to look for a way past Iman Danish. This battle has been going on for quite a few laps. There's 7 or 8 laps of battling there, and it looks like Iman Danish still able to just drive a little bit quicker coming out of the danger zones around this track. There's a couple of places there where you could try and overtake, but he's just quick enough to keep Saiful Arifin at bay. Saiful Arifin also holding a watching brief, not trying to go too quick through there. Lloyd and Mungfai decide to go into the pits, 16th and 17th places. They're the first of the regular runners coming into the pits for their tyres and fuel. Meanwhile, further up, it looks like Jezrin still in that very difficult position, trying to battle between Azri, Nigel, Ilham, Miko, all around him. And there could be a chance to try and take some positions here, but when the cars are really this close, this far apart, there's a huge chance that any mistake could lead to some rather harrowing incidents.
Itu dah Jazrin Jali diapit oleh 5 kereta B2B, bumper to bumper, bukan body to body guys. Saling tu dia. Dapat kita saksikan persaingan sengit di antara mereka ini yang berada di boleh dikatakan kelompok harapan juga, yang mana perebutan tempat kelima di antara di antara Azri, Jazrin Jali dan juga Ilham Halabi.
Saya ingat B2B tu business to business.
Bumper to bumper, bye.
Bumper to bumper.
Ya.
Itu dia, dan kita dapat saksikan Muhammad Ibrahim sekarang berada di tempat yang pertama. So 8.4 seconds in the lead is Muhammad Ibrahim. Perhaps he's trying to stretch that lead as much as possible before he heads into the pits, trying to negate any chances of an undercut from the drivers further behind. And it looks like Muhammad Ibrahim really flying in the XOX Sports Porsche Cayman GT4 there. A very popular car in real life as well for GT4 racing, and a lot of privateers and professionals alike are really looking like they're really taking to this car like a duck through water, and none more so than Muhammad Ibrahim in the XOX Unity League. This is the third race in a row that he's led a race. So he's kept that unbroken streak of leading a race. It remains to be seen if he can bring it home right now. Zikri, they're going very wide there, and it looks like he may have given that position up to Vinder, saying they were battling quite hard. They're going through the horseshoe section here, this little U-shaped corner, coming out of it again. Very tricky on the exit here because you can see the road falls away ever so slightly, and it looks like Zikri unfortunately just missed that braking zone just ever so slightly, which caused him to drop back quite a bit.
Okey, manakala Muhammad Zikri cuba mengejar roll charge agak jauh juga tu, walaupun begitu beliau tetap cuba memberikan saingan hebat kepada pelumba kita Parvinder Singh. Jauh baik, tapi tak apa, cuba lagi. Muhammad Zikri daripada Lifestyle Motorsport Team B.
Yeah, there you have it. Now Saifar Arifin still battling hard with Iman Danish. It looks like that gap hasn't really changed too much, but now they're coming up against lap traffic. It'll be interesting to see how these drivers deal with going through there. So ahead of Saiful Arifin right now is Iman Danish. Ahead of them is the McLaren of Lloyd Lachlan, who's had a very interesting race, to say the least, a very eventful race indeed. He's trying desperately hard to try and get back up leaderboard. He was very comfortable in the midfield there, but now he's already pitted. Remember, the two cars behind him haven't pitted yet, but it'll be interesting to see how these guys manage to weave their way past there. Lloyd shouldn't be giving too much resistance, if you will, as they go past there. Looks like Lloyd decides to give them a very nice job indeed, and it looks like Saiful Arifin still unable to catch up with Iman Danish despite that little interlude with the back marker.
Agresif tu diorang ni. Diorang ni macam berlumba berdua je. Ibrahim dah kat depan. Nampak aja saya dengan Danish dah lantak cover berasak lah berdua. Cuba perebutan di part kedua di antara Saiful Arifin dan juga Iman Danish.
Yeah, and it looks like Jazrin Jali and Miko Nasi have gone into the pits. So the first of the top 10 runners have decided to come into the pits there. Could this be a reaction to the ever-growing gap up ahead? Could this be a chance for them to try and gain some positions via an undercut in strategy? That's when you pit before the drivers ahead of you and try and catch back up on fresh rubber and fuel. We'll see how that goes. As Zikri also in the pits, and it looks like Amir Faridian managing to get himself out ahead of Zikri in 12th place. Miko Nasi managing to join the track in 10th position. So Miko didn't drop too many positions there. He was in 8th, now he's in 10th place, so he could have a chance to try and catch back up again. There's a big gap, however, between Vinder and Mika Hakimi up ahead there, so that's 15 seconds. That could be quite interesting to see how that plays out during the course of the race. So the guys who have already pitted, Jaswin Jali, Miko Nasi, and also Zikri, as well as Likwi, Lloyd and Monfai, all having completed their pit stops there. But interestingly enough, the top 5 have not yet pitted. They're almost down to the 30th minute, so these drivers might be just waiting for that last possible moment there. It'll be interesting to see who blinks first and who pits first.
Sekarang masuki minit ke-28. Ini nak tengok ni di antara Iman Danish dan Saiful, dia orang nak masuk pit bila ni, sebab dia orang ni macam tengah seronok pelumba sekarang ni. Tapi kena ingat, semua pelumba wajib memasuki satu sekali masuk ke dalam pit. Tapi dia orang sekarang ni aku nampak macam dia orang tengah tak ada fikir bila nak masuk pit, sebab dia orang tengah gigih ni bersaing hebat di antara satu sama lain.
And it looks like Nigel Chua is in the pits as well, so the drivers further up the field beginning to come into the pits there. Nigel Chua, very short pit stop. That's the advantage of running the first stint long, is that you have a very short pit stop, Indeed, he comes out side by side with Bhagwinder Singh there, and it looks like they're going to be battling coming down to turn 1. Will Nigel Chua have enough heat in the tyres by the time he gets down into turn 3? Hard on the brakes there, just about managing to get himself across, and yes, he's managed to get himself ahead of Bhagwinder Singh. But Bhagwinder, remember, he has the momentum and he has the heat in the tyres to be able to try and fight back. Now, you can see Bhagwinder closing up the gap, coming into the corner there and changing direction a lot more aggressively. Look at how close he's getting. Corner by corner, lap by lap. Now, Nigel Chua, his biggest concern right now is to try and get some heat into the tyres before he can try and pull away. Now, we're right on board with Bhagwinder coming into the braking zone here. Let's see if he can come into there. Meanwhile, Ibrahim has gone into the pit. So the first person to blink is Mohammed Ibrahim, and it looks like Iman Danish is in as well, and it looks like Saiful, not too sure if Iman Danish managed to get himself into the pits there. It almost looks like he was reversing. Not too sure what happened there. That's very, very odd indeed. I'm not too sure if they're allowed to reverse. Most of the time they're not actually allowed to reverse into the pits there. Perhaps he was avoiding something on the track that we didn't see, because that is in fact his position in the pit box. So that's a little bit curious, but it looks like everyone has decided to try and react to that, and that also has broken up a few of the battles there. Hakimi, Bhagwinder, Farid, quite a lot of the drivers have gone into the pits at the same time as Muhammad Ibrahim there. So right now, almost all the drivers have completed their pit stops. Azam has still yet to complete a pit stop, and Saiful Arifin has also yet to complete a pit stop. So it'll be interesting to see where those guys end up in terms of time. Can they build up enough of a buffer between Saiful Arifin and Iman Danish for him to get into the pits and out in time? The gap is going to be what's going to be critical there. And it looks like Saiful Arifin, 27 seconds. You know what? He might be able to come into the pits and out again ahead of Iman Danish.
Ini yang pernah jadi ni, strategi telah bertukar dan juga kedudukan telah bertukar sekarang ni, yang mana Saiful di tempat pertama, Iman Danish di tempat kedua, Najib Chua di tempat ketiga, Muhammad Ibrahim di tempat keempat. Nampak gaya sebentar tadi Muhammad Ibrahim masuk ke pit pada minit ke-28 kalau tak silap aku. Dan kini inilah dia kedudukan yang terkini, tuan-tuan.
And it's 600 meters, I believe, 700 meters roughly between Iman Danish and Saiful Arifin. So this could be the big decider when it comes to who's going to be leading the race as they come out of the pits there. Iman Danish goes past, and has he gone out of the pits yet? It looks like he's coming out of the pits there. It's going to be very, very close indeed. But Saiful Arifin manages to come into the pits and come right back out again in first place. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new race leader. Saiful Arifin in first place with Iman Danish in second, Nigel Chua in third, and Muhammad Ibrahim in fourth. Wow, that round of pit stops was absolutely massive in terms of its consequences. Muhammad Ibrahim now really battling hard with Nigel Chua. He's trying his hardest. He's pushing that car as hard as he can go, side by side there with Nigel Chua going through that corner there. He's managing to overtake that number 12 Porsche in a really tricky place to overtake there. But that number 2 car of Muhammad Ibrahim really throwing that car around. He must be really annoyed about that round of pit stops there. He was leading by quite a way, but unfortunately it looks like he's down into third place.
Ini situasi yang jarang-jarang dapat kita lihat. Bukan selalu kita dapat tengok Muhammad Ibrahim berada di belakang. Biasanya dia dapat di kedudukan pertama. Malam ini di kedudukan lap ke-21, pusingan ke-21, minit ke-33. Sekarang ini Muhammad Ibrahim berada di tempat ketiga, diikuti rapat oleh Nigel Chua daripada Lifetime Motorsport Team. So, Max, awak rasa Muhammad Ibrahim boleh kejar ke tak boleh kejar Iman Danish dan juga Saiful yang berada di hadapan?
Kalau tak silap saya, gap dia antara lebih kurang 5 saat
5 saat
Ibrahim, dan tambah lagi 3 saat kepada Saiful Arifin, 4 saat. So there's about 8 seconds roughly between Ibrahim and Saiful Arifin. So it's going to be interesting to see how he can try and catch up. 8 seconds, that would work out. He would have to do something in the region of 2 seconds a lap faster than the rest of the field there. It's a tough order, it's a tough ask, but Ibrahim's done some amazing things in that Porsche this season. So let's see if he can actually try and catch up again. But very, very difficult race there for Ibrahim after that pit stop kerfuffle, as all the drivers rearrange themselves in order there. And it looks like Miko Nasi is managing to get himself up the leaderboard as well. He was running in 8th for quite some time. He even dropped down to 10th, but it looks like he's managed to get himself up into 6th place, and he's catching up with 5th place Jazrin. So Nigel Chua, Jazrin Jali, Miko Nasi, Azri, Shami Azri, and Ilham Halabi. So those 5 drivers there battling for position towards the end of the race here. It's going to be interesting to see who is going to succumb to desperation, who is going to be able to find that perfect line through the bend to try and overtake the drivers here. It's all or nothing right now. The pit stops are done, the pit lane shenanigans are over, and now it's time to really put that foot down and try and get as much pace out of the cars as possible all the way to the finish. 5 minutes to go. Saiful Arifin is in the lead, Iman Danish in 2nd, and Muhammad Ibrahim in 3rd place. Meanwhile, Nigel Chua is in 4th with Jazrin in 5th, followed by Miko Nasi, Shami Azri, Ilham Halabi, Ika Hakimi, and Amir Faridian in 10th place. A fantastic drive and a fantastic fight back for Amir Faridian. It looks like he might be a bit of a driver of the day there.
Ya, kedudukan kini telah pun berubah, yang mana sebentar tadi Ilham Halabi berada di hadapan Miko Nasi dan kini berada di tempat ke-8, telah pun ditinggalkan oleh Miko Nasi sebentar tadi. Okey, Ilham Halabi sekarang ini, dan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, kedudukan sekarang ini Saiful di tempat pertama, Iman Danish di tempat kedua, Muhammad Ibrahim di tempat yang ketiga. So, percaturan Saiful Arifin ni aku rasa sangat-sangat menarik lah, dan juga sangat-sangat sesuai dengan tempatnya. Jika tadi bila berada di tempat ketiga, dan aku rasa mungkin sebab faktor pemilihan pit timing dia memang cantik lah. Dan sekarang lihat dia berada di tempat pertama sekarang ini. Saiful Arifin daripada pasukan 1XOX TKKR E-Racing Team A.
Ya, itu dia agak mengejutkan juga ya pada malam ni. Masa pit stop tu kita tak boleh jangka yang Saiful Arifin dapat overtake masa pit stop tu.
Sekejap je kan? Dia masuk tadi sekejap je kan?
Dia memang dapat stretch lah. So Saiful Arifin managing to stretch his lead out to 27 seconds. He managed to pit and put just enough fuel in that car. He'll probably have to fuel save just ever so slightly towards the end of the race then. The drama still continues there for Lloyd Lachlan in the Team Liberace car. He's in the wars again. It's very unfortunate here. It looks like the McLaren struggling a little bit to tackle the bumps here at Belle Isle. He's gone over the curves there just a little bit too far in the curves there, and he spins out a very, very easy mistake to make. And unfortunately, it looks like Munfai has gone past him there in the battle for the quickest McLarens. But Ibrahim there, he's managed to get himself up into 3rd place, however. So he's managed to get past Nigel Chua, and now he's got his foot down as well. He's going to be trying to break the fastest lap of the race as often as possible. And his teammate isn't too far behind. Miko Nasi in 6th place. He's trying to catch up with Jazrin Jali. He's trying to look on the inside. He decides not to do it. Discretion, the better part of valor, this particular situation there. But he's getting closer and closer to Jazrin. Miko Nasi could be in with a position to try and gain a few more points. A few very valuable points there for Axel Sports there. But the Team TKKR drivers know what's on hand there in the team's championship, and Jazrin is not going to make it easy for Miko to get past.
Ya, betul tuan-tuan. Okey, 38 minit, ada berbaki 1 minit lebih saja lagi sebelum perlombaan ini ditamat sepenuhnya. Itulah dia dalam perlombaan macam-macam boleh jadi selagi checker flag tidak dinaikkan. Kita tengok apa dia keputusannya.
That's a big accident there. That was Jazrin, and it looks like that was Nigel. I believe that was Nigel Chua there, and unfortunately Miko Nasi. Yeah, and Nigel Chua has a lot of damage on that Porsche there. Right now, he'll have to try and drag that car around to the finish line somehow. But that was dramatic stuff. Miko Nasi got caught up in someone else's accident. That's so easy to happen here at Belle Isle. To no fault of his own, Miko Nasi got caught up in another driver getting into the wars a little bit coming through that section there. So it looks like he was trying to go for an overtaking maneuver around the outside of Jazrin, and it looks like Nigel Chua there just gone a little bit wide, pushed the car a little bit too hard going into that corner there. Perhaps the tyres showing a little bit of wear, and unfortunately that means that Miko Nasi has managed to go back. He went back down to 8th place there, but he's managed to get that position again. It looks like Nigel Chua giving out that position rather voluntarily. Not that he had too much of an option there. There's a lot of damage on that car there. and Moonfire almost coming into the back of him there. It looks like Ilham Hlabi trying to overtake around the outside of Shami Azri and manages to do it. What a move! That must be the overtake of the race there around the outside of Shami Azri. Ilham Hlabi managed to get himself up into 5th position there. So that's some fantastic news for 1XOX TKKR Racing Team. More points on the board for their championship aspirations.
Kedudukan kini telah pun berubah. Ilham Halabi naik 3 anak tangga, tuan-tuan. Sekarang ni Ilham Halabi berada di kedudukan yang kelima, cuba mengejar Jazin Jali, rakan pasukan beliau yang berada di kedudukan keempat sekarang ini. Akibat insiden sebentar tadi dan kedudukan sekarang ini, Saiful Arifin di tempat pertama, Iman Danish tempat kedua, Muhammad Ibrahim tempat ketiga.
And there you have it. Saiful Arifin only has a few more corners left. 2 more corners to go. What a surprising result. Nobody could have predicted this coming into the start of the race. 1 more corner to go, going across the line. It's Saiful Arifin who takes the win, with Iman Danish in 2nd place and Muhammad Ibrahim in 3rd position. Still on the podium, still on course for that championship lead, I'm sure. Jazin Jali comes home in 4th for the TKKR Racing Team B. Ilham Hlabi coming home in 5th place, bolstering the fantastic effort for that team there. Shami Azri in 6th, with Miko in 7th place. Wow, what a race, what a result. Nobody could have predicted that at the start of the race there, especially with the Axel Sport driver there of Muhammad Ibrahim really pushing the car quite well through these bends here. But unfortunately, it looks like there was a bit of an issue there in the pit stops there. Something must have slowed him down quite a bit. That caused him to drop down the order then. Saiful Arifin, he was in the lead. He came into the pit stops and he managed to get out in the lead. 27 seconds appeared to be the magic time for Saiful Arifin to get the overcut on Iman Danish. But a well-deserved win there for Saiful Arifin. Really was there. Boleh dikirakan dia memang dapat juga kutip sayur, tetapi bakat dia memang dinafikan jugalah.
Ya. Tapi betul lah, memang menakjubkan lah keputusan pada malam ni. Saiful Arifin, itu mungkin strategi dia kot. Dia masuk minit yang ke-28. Ke berapa ni? 28 kot tak salah aku. 28 ke 30?
Ya, 30 lebih kurang.
30. Tiba-tiba, dan sekarang ni Muhammad Ibrahim berada di tempat ketiga. Tapi itulah strategi yang Saiful Arifin lakukan dan membuatkan beliau memenangi dan juga sampai ke checkered flag terlebih dahulu.
That's right. So 1XOX TKKR Racing Team, they would be absolutely delighted by that result right now. But as we wait for some of the drivers to head on over to the press conference area, which is the room
mari. Driver kasih mari.
Jom kalau kita boleh dapatkan diorang. So we'll see if we can get some of the drivers up into the room there. But Bob, memang menakjubkan juga race ni.
Satu keputusan yang tak dijangka.
So we have our 3rd place man, Muhammad Ibrahim. Tough luck for you there. It looked like you had a bit of an issue in the pits there. What happened?
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, actually my pit bay was at the really end. In the practice session, I was right at the back of the pits, and they moved. For some reason, my pit bay was right in the beginning, so I thought I missed my pit bay, but no, it was right in the front. So I literally sat there for 10-20 seconds in the pits.
Oh man, that must have been gutting for you when you got back out again, because you looked like you had the race in the bag there.
Yeah. I was like just cruising, when I was out in the lead. I was not pushing whatsoever because I knew I had a big gap, but unfortunately, it just happened in the pits.
Yeah, but you managed to get yourself back up into 3rd place there. So had some hairy moments towards the end of the race there as you're trying to overtake everyone. Fantastic racecraft there as you came out of the pits there. I believe you're still in the lead of the championship. I suppose 3rd place isn't too bad, all things considering.
Yeah, 3rd place. I'm happy finishing 3rd. I could have got disqualified actually. So I was really worried because, in the pit lane it was quite risky. And then I did the overtake on Nigel, and I had a bit of contact with him, and I broke my my rear wheel was bent basically. So I had a lot of toe. So the car was completely all over the place. It was completely broken for the last 10-20 minutes.
Wow, that's some pretty good driving there to keep that thing in third position. So I guess all things considered, perhaps a little bit disappointed that you didn't get the race win this evening, but still nice to see you on the podium there and still definitely on course for that championship title. That must be a focus for the next few races, eh?
Yeah, that's definitely the focus. So hopefully I don't repeat these kind of mistakes again. And yeah.
Well, that's fantastic stuff. Congratulations, anyways, on your podium position, Ibrahim. Hopefully, we'll see you do a couple of spots better for the next round.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. I would like to thank you, the commentators, and XOX, and everyone involved in the championship, Cairo Lang, and Delinian Impact, and whoever's just working to create this championship. Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us. It's been absolutely wonderful watching you out on track. So that was Mohammad Ibrahim there. Perhaps just a little bit disappointed, but still, all things considering, he still managed to get into a podium position there. So boleh dikirakan agak masih bersyukur lagi lah sebab dia dapat masuk
Dia
ke podium
kedudukan ketiga
position. So
kalau
sekarang dia
kedudukan ketiga still ada point kan Max kan?
Yeah, betul. So memang the points championship very, very important. Now we're also with Afiq Fadlan, who's had quite the race this evening. How you been, Afiq? Apa khabar?
Hey,
Apa
Max,
khabar, Afiq?
fine, thank you. I just feel unlucky today.
Kenapa?
I qualified good,
Ah.
but on the fourth lap, I was punted from the back. I just looked at the replay and it seems like I don't know. The guy at the back probably slept, missed his braking point, and ran into me. So not much I can do there.
So a bit of a disappointing race for you. What do you think about the track? I presume you're probably not the biggest fan of this track, just quietly.
Actually, I kind of like it. It's like a Monte Carlo.
All right.
We've as a team, Hyperbulls has been practicing here day in day out, morning and evening. So I think we had the pace. It's just that we weren't lucky today.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of incidents up and down the leaderboard there. We're just having, in fact, a replay of your incident now on TV at the moment there. And that was quite a big hit there. How did the car drive afterwards? Did you have a lot of repair time?
I thought the usual repair would suffice, but it just turned out that the car was totally wonky all the way. So I had to come in back again, waited for the 11 minutes, and the steering was still wonky then. But I think I managed to do a 137-ish that time. I think that was okay.
That's all right considering toe control issues there. It seems to be a bit of a theme there. Even Ibrahim there in third position had a bit of suspension damage towards the end of the race there, the wheels being bent. It seems to be quite easy to knock the toe out of alignment here, eh?
Yeah, it is. It somehow, with the Porsches, over time, as the tire wears, it gets very, very slippery and you kind of slide out a little bit, one lap after another, and things happen after that. But congrats to the podiums.
Absolutely fantastic stuff there. Hopefully your team will be able to come back fighting hard and carry on racing, hopefully a little bit further forwards, because you did a fantastic lap there during the qualifying session there. So I guess the last thing is, despite all that, did you enjoy yourself?
Oh yeah, the second stint I had trying to catch up the guys in front. My relatives here was totally red, and I was I made a target for myself to catch these guys up, and I think I did well. It was fun, and I think for the next race we're going to try harder. We're going to improve ourselves. We're going to do all those that lembu method that we do.
Yeah.
Improve that, and hopefully we can do a lot more of the hosted as well.
That's awesome as well, because as I know, you guys have been running a lot of hosted sessions to practice amongst yourselves, but also inviting all the other drivers of the championship coming in. So it's really good to see you guys doing that for the community and really building up the community support. So good work on your end on that.
Thanks, Max.
Awesome stuff there. So thanks a lot there to Afiq Fadlan there, who's been fantastic, giving us a lot of feedback throughout the course of the season. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk to him further on. A member of Hyperball's team there, a lot of Hyperball's drivers racing this week. Not so lucky, unfortunately, in this race, but there you have it. But here are the provisional results for XOX Unity League Pro Class Round 3. Saiful Arifin in first place with Iman Danish in second. Mohamed Ibrahim in third place, unfortunately, after that little pit lane snaggle. Jazri Jalin, however, is in fourth place, followed by Ilham Halabi, helping 1XOX TKKR Racing Team A try and get to the top in the team standings. Shami Azri in sixth, with Miko Nasi in seventh place, Mika Hakimi in eighth, Najra Chua in ninth, Amir Faridian in 10th place, followed by Pagvinder Singh, Muhammad Zikri, Azam Azni, Wan Li Kui, Azlan Manap, Leung Mun Fai, and Lloyd Lotlin, with Muhammad Taki there 2 laps behind. Some of the drivers further back, Afif Adlan, Ayman Zubair, and Faiz Aslan, few laps behind there. Faiz Aslan 20 laps back, and Kavinder Singh, Zainul Hazim, and Afizul Jai, unfortunately unable to finish the race. I believe Afizul Jai went out in the first lap along with Zainul Hazim, so very unfortunate for them. Hopefully they'll do a lot better in the next round. So, Bob, apa perasaan, apa feeling malam ni selepas race yang agak dramatis tadi?
Keputusan yang tak dijangka-jangka. Macam tadi perebutan di antara Muhammad Rahim dan lead. Kemudian side by side yang sangat sengit di antara Saiful Arifin dan juga Iman Danish. Last Saiful Arifin yang dapat nombor 1. Apa pun kita mengucapkan tahniah kepada Saiful Arifin. Satu keputusan yang tidak dapat aku jangkakan.
Tapi boleh dikatakan yang to finish the race you really have to wait until the finish. So dia betul-betul, inilah salah satu daripada kes yang kita tak boleh confirm apa-apa selagi checkered flag tak turun. Macam
Ibrahim cakap tadi, dia kata dia tersilap masa pit tadi kan, betul? So ini membuatkan Saiful Arifin dapat memenangi perlombaan pada malam ini. Tahniah diucapkan.
Ya, itu dia. So, kita boleh tengok dekat komen juga. Tamiz Yusof, tahniah Ipin, Apple pun, congratulations Iman Danish. Itu dia. Dan LMS pun dapat berjaya masuk dalam podium position. Dan itu dia. Paduka Syuib Hassan pun dah nak enter competition ni.
dia sama macam kita lah, Max. Nak masuk tak boleh. So kena jadi orang belakang tabi.
Yeah, betul. So there you have it. That's been an absolutely brilliant race there. We managed to talk to some of the drivers there. This is another race that I'm definitely going to be watching back for quite a while to come. But for now, a special thanks to our sponsors, XOX and 1XOX. Along with our racing partner TKKR, our event partner Macpie, our supporters Android King and Precision Sim Racing, and our media partners Galeri Kereta. And of course, a special thanks goes out to the drivers this evening. They have put on an amazing race, and I'm sure we'll see far more drama, suspense, thrills and spills throughout the course of the race. And of course, thanks to Encik Bob. Terima kasih kerana sudi menemani saya pada malam ini.
Ya, sama-sama. So itu tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, hari ni kita tengok Pro Class. So kita akan bertemu lagi bila, Max?
Kita akan bertemu esok. So we'll be joining you tomorrow at the same time on Saturday for the amateur class race. Trust me, it's going to be very, very special, and it'll be interesting to see how that BMW does against the McLarens and Porsche. So memang interesting juga kita tengok kalau boleh tak BMW mengatasi Porsche. Battle of the Germans coming right up. But all that remains for me is to thank all of you wonderful viewers at home watching, and to thank all of our staff behind the scenes for making this race possible. But for now, that's it from our director Kara Alang, from Inchet Bob, and from myself, Max Palmer. We will see you all in the next race. Bye for now. Ta-ra.
Bye.
Hi guys, saya Jai Android King, professional drifter, racer dan sim racer. Kalau korang mencari racing simulator, datanglah ke Android King. Kita ada Trustmaster T300 steering, Logitech G29, Simagic wheelbase, Super Street racing rig, triple monitor setup dan macam-macam lagi produk. Saya ingin menjemput anda datang ke Android King, nanti saya bagi harga baiknya.